volume, right? So we'll see. Like I'm not that keen on it. I think that Fran's probably going to have a little bit more range. I haven't checked it. Somebody check? Is it ETB today? If it's easy to borrow today, then I think it'll probably, it could get picked back up. I mean, you can find borrows on this everywhere yesterday. I mean, shit, all my brokers had it, and usually like these kind of stocks, like because the float's so low on this, you usually got to request them. But it was ETB yesterday, so that's why they kind of spike these things up after hours. Just squeeze everybody out a little bit. I think this one will be in play. I'm not going to touch it. My rules of life. No small caps on Tuesdays. Just kidding. ZS. I like this one. My worry on this one is so we had this big down day here. And I'm wondering if this day they kind of pre-announced their earnings already. And so this thing's been drifting lower for already quite some time. Now it's getting crushed again. Is this going to be more like an exhaustion gap kind of thing where it's the earnings were already expected and then now they're coming out and they're worse than they're supposed to be or whatever it might be. Overall, we have very, very clear levels on this, That 48 spot, if we ORB below 48, we know, okay, we can take this thing. We take this thing short. If it starts to fuck around in the 50, 51 range, and even if you start to see little patterns come in, I'm not that interested because this very well could just start to squeeze to the upside. It's got that weird look to it where it very well could take a $3-4 spike at some point intraday. Hey LRS, what's up, baby? What's going now? GameStop. Man, I love GameStop. I'm so nostalgic about all things from the 90s these days. I think I don't know if it's just my expanding waistline or, thinning hairline, but anything from the 90s gets me very nostalgic. 90210, Matchbox 20, and GameStop. Those are my things that really get me going in hand jobs. Those are all very romantic things that took place in the 90s that just don't seem to happen as often anymore, at least from other people. I would like to long GameStop, and I hope it stays around. But if we've got to short this thing because it's blown out its earnings, we will, because money always comes first, right? You got this thing down. It's down about 15-20% almost, right? 14%. Watch this level over here. This is one of those ones, if it ORBs down here, you could very well, this thing could spike down 20, 30, 40 cents, right? It's got that kind of, it's going to have that kind of action. This has been basically just a giant short squeeze for the last few weeks. So in general, I think this one's going to have a chance. Hassan, what's up, baby? What's up? Dave and Buster's, fuck these guys, right? So you're going to break down to these lows over here. Man, they got this game at Dave and Buster's that's a VR game. And I shit you not, the game costs $6 to play. You come in there and you play this game, and it's actually pretty cool. And boom, they charge you $6. It's over in 2 minutes. So you're just getting into it, just figuring out how this shit works. And all of a sudden it's bam, game over. Just give me $6 more. I'm spending $40, $50 on this stupid game. And I didn't really even get anywhere with it because I didn't really figure it out. And you just got to keep plugging in that money. And so just for that, I'm going to get my pound of flesh today on Dave & Buster's. If you look at its weekly chart from 2017, 2018, 2019, this thing's got room to fall. It's got room to fall. They owe me $50. It's not as cool as GameStop. Not as cool as GameStop. Right? GameStop is a magical place. They sell used video games there. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. You go to GameStop, you got $10, you're walking out with something. You go to Dave & Buster's and walk with $10. They're just taking it, and you don't even get to really play any games. Sure. 34 million share float, so be careful with the liquidity on this one. Okay, even though it's a billion-dollar company, at 34 million share float, it tends to trade a little bit thin, right? It can trade a little bit thin. Watch the spread on it. If the spread starts widening, probably leave it alone. You know, you got to be real careful when the spread starts to get crazy like that. But I don't think it's going to have a spread. Last time it had earnings, it was trading pretty normal. It's got good range on it. I like this one. The key is this level. If it can hold under that level and build a pattern, then it's going to have a chance to build and shred down, right? But if it starts to get, say, back over and you start getting into like the 38, 39s, and you start to take some type of, you know, if you start to get a 38, 39 and it looks like it's going to do an ORB, it's going to have a little bit more trickiness because you're going to have to break through multiple levels of support. So be aware of always where all the booby traps are. Guys, when you're making good trades, you need to see things on all different angles and all different time frames, meaning you got to know where the daily, the weekly, the 5-minute, you got to know where all the angles are and all these things. Remember that different traders trade different time frames. You got to know where all the booby traps are. When you know where the action is and where all the booby traps are, that's when you can take clean trades. So many times we get focused on pattern that we miss on the fact that patterns only work when they are placed at key spots where you have limited supply or demand zones that can obstruct the stock essentially. So this play is going to be good if we can hold at good spots. So keep an eye on it. Hey Kyle, what's up, baby? Dude, Roku got smoked out yesterday. This was awesome. Most of us missed this because it was end of day and, you know, we were out in the balcony smoking cigarettes, doing God knows what. But I covered this thing like so many times, like right at the lows. Oh, man. You're starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Whether the bounce builds or it goes green to red is, we don't know. We are on some support on the daily, so theoretically, you know, we should have some bounce. But there was a heavy selling coming on yesterday, so it very well could go green to red. This is going to be a reactive trade, meaning we need to see like how the trend sets before we make the trade on it. It's not going to be a simple one. After a big range like this, it's going to be common. If you gap up inside the range, which is like above yesterday's low, but right below yesterday's high, you're in an inside day. And so what can happen is the range has to set before you can really figure out which way it's going to go. McCander, what's up, baby? How you doing? So watch this one. Let the trend set before you just make a thing. All right. Shop was looking bouncy too. Breaking below the lower Bollinger Band. You got oversold stochastics. This thing's right at a sweet spot. As long as it can hold 36, we could get a little bit of a bounce on this thing. Now, this, I mean, it is feeling like very liquidation style. There's a sector rotation going on in the markets right now where money's flowing out of some of these big name, over-bloated, overextended tech names and probably going to flow into other stuff. Where it's flowing into right now, nobody really knows, but it is definitely escaping out of here. I think that these will probably be all dead cat bounces, and they'll probably enter like longer term ranges. That's probably the highest probability scenario for some of these, but we are due for a dead cat bounce on shop. You know, we could get 20, 30, 40 points over the next couple days if it can hold 36. Watch this thing build out this pattern. You'll be good to go. I'm not interested in really shorting it anymore because it's already down like $100 at this point. So, you know, where's the RR on something like that? Yeah, I like this one for a long. JNUG is right back at support here. It could blow through this, but frankly, it's oversold. It went from 100 to 67. You had a 3 stochastics. That's about as oversold as you can get in terms of like when you're measuring like short-term stochastics, overbought, oversold indicators. So when you're at a 3 and you're at support, then the bias goes to the long side. So I do think we get a dead cat bounce on this one. Guys, these momentum names like Roku, JNUG, Shop, Twilio, the ones that we've been trading all year and just hammering them, the charts are breaking. It's not going to be the same as it was before. When stocks are trending to the upside and they just go up all the time, then what happens is every single long setup that you know, flags, VWAP bounces, quick pullback buys, all that kind of stuff, they all work because you're in a trending stock. What happens is when a stock enters a new phase, right? So you have accumulation phase, distribution phase, run-up phase, run-down phase. As you enter a new phase, a consolidation phase, the setups will not work the same as when the stock has momentum. So for those of you guys in our chat room, you guys already know this stuff, but right, it's if you're applying momentum techniques to stocks that have lost their momentum, then what we do actually doesn't work. The techniques that we use are for trenders to the upside and downside. Now, right now, they've been trading on the downside, so things have been working. But if they start to enter longer-term ranges, then what we do won't work as well, and then we have to find a new group of kind of stocks to trade. So just kind of keep mind of that. I'm expecting a bounce as JNUG, but most likely probably just get it, into the zone before it enters either a longer-term range or just breaks down. This chart is broken. It looks like a head and boulders, cock and balls pattern. Overall, that thing is just a dud. ACAD, this one's looking like a beauty. If you look at the 15-minute chart, you got yourself. Let's just pretend this wick doesn't exist. Sometimes you got to do that in trading. When you're trading, there's always going to be like wicks and stuff on charts. But like our job is to make charts look pretty, right? To make us see the levels that we need to see. So every blue moon, if you've got something that's just showing up, pretend like that wick never happened, and you'll get a much cleaner chart. I do that every blue moon. So just something to kind of keep an eyeball on. All right, so I like this one. As long as it gets over this kind of like 42 spot, I think we're gonna get. A little bit of action. What you think? Yeah. Let's shred, man. We got things to do, man. It's been hot in the chat room the last couple weeks. We had some good trades yesterday. Roku, some shorts and oil. Man, we're going to keep this thing up. We're going to keep this party going. This gravy train going. So let's do what we do, which is the do. Guys, let's have some fun. Let's make some money. Let's go and work together. Guys, when you're in the chat room, make sure, don't just post tickers. Post ideas. Hey, I like this. This is this pattern. Sometimes in the chat room, if you just sit there and post a ticker, we don't have any context of what's going on. But, right, if you've got an idea, right, post a chart, post a ticker, and let's go work together. Let's make a little money. Pragnesh, what's up? Danny, what's up? Mr. Gaines, good morning. Sal, how you doing? Jason, what's up? Mitch, how you doing? Maxer does look good. Maxer does look good, Mr. Olson. Good eye. I might steal that for myself. All right. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the YouTubes, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you like it. And, I'll be in our Discord chat room. You guys are more than welcome to join us anytime. I'll be in the chat rooms at bullsonwallstreet.com. And, dude, we've been having all sorts of fun in there. It's a good group of dudes. Let's make some money. Chrissy, what's up?